It's interesting times that we live in, even without believing that it's the end times and Jesus is about to return. Today, a very specific question that I'm looking at about the European Union and whether the European Union, with all its foibles, is part of the signs that the end times are upon us. And I looked quickly at how it seemed as though there were some aspects of the European Union which fitted in with Bible prophecy, particularly Daniel 7 and Revelation. In fact, Revelation chapter 13, which sort of builds on Daniel's prophecy. And there were some surface similarities between those prophecies and how they will be fulfilled and how things looked today. But there's always a problem if you're trying to do your analysis of the Bible and starting with the news and then seeing what will fit in the Bible. First of all, it's so important to look at the Bible and see what it says. Is it really true that it's referring specifically to today and that Babylon the Great, in Revelation 14 verse 8, if you want to look it up, if it's just associated with the EU, what about all the other organisations or groupings of nations through the years? Were they not being criticised? But I just want to say this is a general point which I think undercuts all this, and that is we are, I believe, living in the end times. But the end times began, and the Bible quite clearly points to this, with Jesus' death and resurrection. Those were the end times of the old order of things. The world that was going to be rolled up like parchment was the world in which the way to heaven was through the temple and sacrifice. The new world, the new order, the new way of things is through faith in Jesus Christ. There's a new creation and it's already started. Why then is there still evil in the world? This is perhaps the whole point of the gospel narratives, when Jesus showed us why. He lived it out himself. Let me put it clearly. In Mark chapter 13, and it's also in Luke 21 and Matthew chapter 24, we find Jesus talking about the destruction of the temple. He's asked the question when the temple would be destroyed, and he goes through this whole description of many things that would happen that we tend to think of as end times, and wars and rumours of wars and earthquakes. And the destruction of the temple would then happen after that, and it happened in 70 AD within the lifetime of many of those present. Now, with that in mind, the other prophecies, like those in Revelation, like those in Daniel, come into perspective, and we can see so clearly that they're talking about the same time. In Revelation, it says, right at the start, in the first few verses of chapter 1, the revelation is about things that were just about to happen. Then, so a prophecy, but now it's happened. It was nearly 2,000 years ago that it happened. And so we can see that these can't refer to specific events now. They refer to them then, and they happened. And as we look to the future, we thank God that they happened, and that similar things then will happen again. So when people take on too much power and put themselves to be equal with God, just as Babylon of old, God will come in judgment. He does come in judgment. And we know, because Jesus was right about his prophecy about the destruction of Jerusalem.
1521